Hi all. We will move to the control and coordination, the another part, that is the hormonal control in humans. The word hormone means on the way. That means wherever they go, they will make some changes. So the people were not knowing about exactly how this functions. So many of the experiments were done in this after 15th and 16th century. And one of the interesting experiment I have, which they did by a German doctor, what he did is he took a rooster, that is a male rooster, male bird, a rooster, and he cut the rooster's testes. He stitched there and kept this rooster inside a cage and observed this rooster for some days. What he found is the rooster started to behave like a hen. So he got doubt. Then what he did is the same castrated testes which he has taken from the rooster, he surgically put this inside a hen. That means surgically attached to the hen. That is where this hen's ovaries are there, where there he attached. And what he has found is the hen started to behave like a rooster, not completely, but at least 50 to 60% they started to behave. So this was the beginning of the study of hormones. The branch of science that study these hormones, we call it as endocrinology. Why the endocrinology? Because hormones are mainly secreted by a gland known as endocrine glands, and you have studied this. Endocrine glands are ductless glands which can secrete their secretion directly into the blood. And there are two types of glands. One is endocrine and another one is exocrine. Endocrine have the capacity to ductless gland which have the capacity to secrete directly into the blood, and exocrine on the other side, which will secrete its secretion through a duct. One of the best example for exocrine gland is sweat glands, so they can do it. And the master gland in our body, which have the capacity to control the secretions of maximum of the hormones, that particular gland is known as pituitary gland. That is present inside the head, somewhere below the hypothalamus and above the brainstem. That is the location of the pituitary gland. And if you see this functioning of the human body, like our last class, we don't know much about that. We have just started, the humans just started to do the brain mapping. So many of the things are unknown to us. More and more researchers, more and more results are coming out. So some of them came out, and what I am saying, it is not on the research basis. What we know very previously, that hypothalamus at particular area that is located just below the thalamus and just above the pituitary gland. This hypothalamus is the area where the maximum, almost all the nerves ends on inside this hypothalamus, like a lobe they ends there. Once they ends there, this hypothalamus is considered as a major part inside the brain, which is responsible for homeostasis. And this particular hypothalamus gives the message to the pituitary gland to secrete few hormones. And there are some hormones which the hypothalamus secretes directly to the blood. One is known as oxytocin, another one is known as vasopressin. And vasopressin is known as the antidiuretic hormone ADH, which plays a major role in absorption of water inside the kidney. And the vasopressin's level goes down, which will leads to type 2 diabetes, not type 2, a diabetic condition known as insipidus. Diabetes mellitus is there because of the insulin. Diabetes insipidus is because of lack of secretion of ADH or vasopressin. So these are the main things. So what is happening here inside this is these hormones are secreted from, that means major precursors are secreted from the hypothalamus. It will reach to the pituitary, and the pituitary also will send a message in the form of hormone that will go and act to the different parts of the body. That is what mainly happening. And there are many hormones are there which can be done like that. For example, growth hormone, which is secreted from the pituitary gland. This regulates the growth, that means the height. So if more the growth hormone, it will become gigantism. Very less the growth hormone, it will become dwarfism. So both are not accepted in the human condition, human society. I'm talking in all the ways. So exact amount should be secreted. So these are controlled by the nervous system. How much amount, when, where, everything is to be done, it is controlled by the nervous system. That is why I said the nervous system and endocrine system together does control and coordination. And next one is known as the thyroxine, which is secreted from the thyroid gland located in near to our voice box. If this thyroxine is not secreted properly, there are two are there. One butterfly like gland is known as the thyroid gland, and near to that back of it we have the parathyroid. Not back, to the side of it we have parathyroid. Two glands are there. So they also secretes altogether, we can say it as thyroxine. So they regulates the metabolism. That means if thyroxine is not secreted properly, the body metabolism will never takes place. Everything will be stopped. So if any, that we can see in very clearly. Whenever we go to a doctor with some major issues in our body, almost all for the major defects in our body related to the hormone, the first test the doctor will say it is check your thyroid, check your thyroxine level. So if the thyroxine level is very high, more the metabolism. If the thyroxine level is very less the metabolism, which we call it as the goitus, hyperconditions. One is known as the goitus, that means enlargement of the thyroid gland. And another one is known as the pancreas. This pancreas is a gland that is a support, which is having both endocrine and exocrine part. Exocrine part is for the digestive system, digestion, which supports to the digestion. And the endocrine gland part secretes two hormones mainly, which we call it as insulin and glucagon. Insulin regulates the blood sugar level, and glucagon also helps to regulate the blood sugar. How? If our body is having extra glucose, that glucose will be converted into glycogen and stored inside the liver. So if they want to do those, the glycogen is stored inside the liver. So when the body is required more glucose, but there is no source of glucose, then this stored glycogen will be converted into sugar with the help of the hormone known as glucagon. And next one is known as adrenal gland. This adrenal, ad means top, renal means kidney. On the top of the kidney we have a gland which is considered to be very important, that this particular hormone is responsible for the fight and flight. Either we will fight or otherwise we will fly off. So that one is known as epinephrine and non-epinephrine. If epinephrine is secreted, it regulates the heart rate and blood pressure. More the blood pressure and more the heart rate. Non-epinephrine means it will reduce the heart rate and the blood pressure. Next is testis and ovaries. You know that testis and ovaries are the main endocrine glands which controls the sexuality or sexual characteristics in humans and males. So if it is males and females in humans, if it is a testosterone, it will help for the male sexual characters, and if it is estrogen, female characters. And along with estrogen there is one more hormone known as progesterone, which also controls the sexual characteristics in females. And all these hormones is not secreted in a single time. So whenever I need a thyroxine, only thyroxine will secrete and other hormones will be stopped. No. All these hormones will be there inside our blood, but the amount will increase when it is required. So one hormone will be there, other hormone is not there also, it will affect its function. And one more important thing, we mainly study that human male secretes only testosterone. No, human males secretes little amount of estrogen also, which is having some functions in our body. And the female will secretes only estrogen and progesterone. No, they also secretes little, ovaries also secretes little amount of testosterones also, which are having some functions inside the female body. Estrogen is responsible for the growth and testosterone is responsible for the sexual libido. So for these type, that means sexual pleasure. So these type of things, everything is balanced. It is not functioning individually, all together are controlling and coordinating our body function. So this is a very important part. There are a lot of questions are asked from that. Which hormone, which function, which gland secrete. So it is very important. So if you are having any doubts from this, you have to contact me, or you can go through the textbook. And whenever we are talking about hormones, this is for your extra information. One is known as autocrine, another known as paracrine. It comes into the effect. Autocrine means a particular hormone is secreted by a particular gland if that hormone functions to the gland or to the area from where it is secreted. Those particular glands are known as autocrine glands. That means it itself will secrete and the function of the hormone will take place on the same organ, then it is known as same gland, then it is known as autocrine. Next comes paracrine. For example, the hormone will be secreted from one place, a gland that is located in one place, and the function of this hormone secreted is in another part of the body. Then those glands are known as paracrine glands. And here I have given some hormonal imbalances are given. That means if the hormone become increase and decrease, what will happen? Adrenal insufficiency, that means insufficient adrenaline, which is epinephrine, is not secreted, then it will cause dehydration. That particular disease condition is known as Addison's disease. And the next one is known as the Cushing's disease, when the pituitary hormones are overactive in nature. Then giantism and dwarfism, hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism, both are related to this. So just go through that. They can ask few questions from that. And down I have given the classification of hormones in animal. That means whichever the hormones we have studied, they are classified on that. That means all the hormones are proteins. All the hormones, some more are having protein nature. Along with that, they are having steroid hormones. That means which is having cholesterol and lipid derivatives inside that. Some are having amino acids inside that. So this classification of hormones in animal is not there in your syllabus, but just you can go through that for your understanding what are these hormones. So it is very simple. If it is a protein hormone, there will be amino acids will be linked. If it is steroid hormone, there will be cholesterol inside that. And if it is an amino acid derived hormone, then they will be having some special amino acids like tryptophan and tyrosines will be there. And these are the list of the female hormones. What is there? That is progesterone, estrogen, human chorionic gonadotropin HCG, which signals the pregnancy, and testosterone, male hormone. So these are the main things. So if you have any doubt from this, please contact me or put a comment there, and please make this as a note and go through the textbook. If I have missed anything, please remind me. Thank you.